IVM.
Hey guys, welcome to the Positively Unlimited podcast. This is the A to Z series of finding your life purpose. And we are on episode 168 of the Positively Unlimited podcast. But this is the 18th pro tip, life hack, life lesson, call it what you may, in your toolkit to find your life purpose. Today's letter is R, and I'm talking about recognition. I hope you've listened to the previous episode that's called Legacy in this particular series of A to Z. That was episode 162. And I hope you've heard 163 as well, which was money. Now, why am I asking you to listen to these two episodes? Because a lot of times we mistake the result that we want to be the reason for which we are doing something. Why you are doing this is very different from the outcome that you are hoping to achieve. While episode 162 gives you a perspective on building a legacy and how asking yourself certain questions about what kind of a legacy do you want to leave behind can help you figure out the direction in which your life purpose is taking you. And 163 spoke a lot about how we misunderstand money and the role that it's supposed to play in this whole life purpose game, or how we make it the obstacle that's actually blocking our view. Well, this particular episode, I picked recognition because I wanted you to think about fame, that quest to be known, that need to be recognized from a different angle. Money and fame are the result that you may experience once you live your life purpose. But if you want to find your life purpose and you want to live it because you want to make it big, you want to be seen, you want to be known, you're going at it from the wrong direction. In simple words, recognition and fame are the result, much like money is the result of living your life purpose. Let's also break this word down a little bit more. Recognition is not necessarily about having your face plastered on the front page of a newspaper or winning awards. A lot of times, it is about being known in your immediate circle as a person of a certain caliber or certain stature or status, or even of a certain nature. But recognition has yet another angle, and that one actually starts with the letter V, validation. Yes, you guessed right, validation. We want to be recognized because it makes us feel validated. It validates our existence. Well, when you start living your life purpose, you are doing what you were born to do. And in just doing so, you need to first learn to recognize your own self and this truth that you are one of the few people or many people in your circle who has discovered their purpose and is also able to live it, has the capacity and the capabilities to live it. When you recognize yourself, you will start talking about yourself in a certain way, and people will view you in that way in which you portray yourself, thus recognizing you in return. I may have made it sound a little too complicated, but I will nudge you to rewind that last part and listen to it again. Because when you act a certain way, you create a certain impression, and people respond to you based on that impression. So when you recognize the goodness that you hold, the capacity and the capabilities that you hold, the power that you hold, and when you share it, people see that and people will respond to that. You validate you. Validating yourself begins with and from you. Validation isn't something that happens entirely from the outside. It must also stem from within you. As for being recognized for what you are doing, I'm going to take you back to that example of whether a housewife has a life purpose or not. Yes, she chose a life that was not related to making money or building a career. Maybe she wasn't ambitious in that cliched sense of the way. But that doesn't mean that her life does not have meaning or that she does not have a purpose to fulfill. Maybe her purpose is to take care of her family, nurture them, keep them safe, and build a beautiful home where not just her family, but even those who visit will feel loved, will be nurtured and nourished. Now, in this scenario, what happens to recognition? She's never going to get fame, or she's never going to be well known in the world. Does that mean that her life purpose is not good enough? Or that couldn't be her life purpose? Or then, is it possible that in her scenario, she needs to be recognized and appreciated and acknowledged for all that she does and the magic that she holds by her family and by those who love her? Every single one of us has a purpose to fulfill in this life. If we take this one statement to be the universal truth, then every single life matters. Yes, you who is tuned in listening to this episode right now, you matter. You make a difference. You are needed and you are wanted. And there is a part that you play in the larger scheme of things. Take a deep breath, because for some of you, what I just said might make your heart sing, but I know for some of you, that felt like a sucker punch in your gut. Why? Because you have been failing to recognize your own magic. Recognition comes in many different ways, and it comes from many different sources. Do not define it in a singular way of being famous, being world-renowned, being known by every single person by face or by work or by personality. Do not reduce it to being a celebrity, whether from the corporate world or from the entertainment world. Everyone deserves to be recognized. And when you live your life purpose, you will be recognized, you will be seen, you will be heard, you will create an impact. For some of us, it may not be as a career, but for some of us, it may be. For those of you who want your life purpose to be tied to your career, you want it to make you money, you want it to make you famous, you want to be recognized for it, somewhere it's a part of your ambition. Have you ever asked yourself why? Why does it have to be tied to your career? Is it because you've been taught, thanks to the internet, that you must follow your passion and that you must do what makes you happy? And only those who have jobs or careers in which they feel excited to go to work every day will succeed? Is that why you are searching for a career which is also your life purpose? Well, I tell you to listen to episode 159, which was called Heartistic, to get a perspective on how to follow your heart. But also, I would tell you to listen to episode number 153, which is titled as Calling. It's time we changed our beliefs about our life purpose, because all we are doing is obstructing our own view. We are creating blind spots that are causing more accidents in our life than actually allowing us to flow towards our life purpose, towards that one thing that will give it all meaning in an aligned way. Once again, if you are doing this because you want to be recognized, then remember that recognition is a result of living your life purpose. It is not the reason. It cannot be the reason. And for those of you who've listened to this episode and now want to go back and listen to some of the previous ones, especially the ones that I've mentioned in this one, you can listen to all previous episodes on the IVM Podcast app and website. And you can connect with us on Twitter and Instagram. Our handle is IVM Podcasts. As for me, if you would like to connect with me, You can DM me on Instagram. My handle is PositivityAngel.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Would like to thank the sponsors on the network this week, Siet. We really do appreciate your support. We have a new show on the network. It's called The Fighting Goat. And if you love fighting sports, tune in every Wednesday with hosts Arjun and Somesh. They also featured, by the way, on Cyrus Says this week, where the three fitness freaks bonded over their love for TV sports and sports in general. Tune in to This Round Is On Me, where Gauri celebrated her 25th anniversary with Kavita Rajwade, who is my co-founder at the IVM Podcast Network. They give us details about how this show was curated, and they talk about podcasts in general. On The Habit Coach, Ashton highlighted our addiction to screens, how we are glued to either a big laptop screen or a small mobile screen all day. He shared some tips on how to rectify this unhealthy lifestyle. On All Things Policy, Anirudh Kanisetti spoke to Pratik Wagre and Rohan Shet about the new internet guidelines that were issued by the Government of India recently, and their impact on content creators and platforms. On the Filter Coffee podcast, Karthik invited Vivek Ram, who is a celebrated animation artist. They chatted about his stint with animation and starting his own studio called Vanar Sena, bringing to life stories from ancient India and his scriptures with animation as his vehicle. We had Dhanya Rajendran, the editor of the News Minute, on the Note with Maruk Inayat. It was a deep dive into the digital newsroom and the upkeep of truth in a fake news pandemic. And with that, we hope to see you again next week.
Working Monday to Friday glued to your chair making you feel dull? Worry not. Get your 5-minute weekly dose of travel around the world with postcards from nowhere. Join me every Thursday as I explore the strange, obscure, and fascinating parts of the world and bring out facets of travel you may not have thought of before. You can find us on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcast from.